kids don't want to be doctors or lawyers. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Everyone wants the trips, the planes, the cars, the green, baby. But how do you do it? How do you get it? Welcome to Brain Drop. Brain Drop. The ultimate podcast where we bring you the secrets and strategies of 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs who've mastered the art of growing their companies through cutting-edge marketing and sales tactics. It's not about lame theories. It's about actionable, proven tactics that'll take your business to new heights. This is Brain Drop. Brain Drop. And now your host, Joshua T. Osborne.
Welcome to Brain Drop. Today, I get the opportunity, and I say opportunity because this man is fucking amazing to be around, amazing to really just be able to watch the way that he processes things, the way in which he coaches and mentors and helps so many people. He's coached so many people online, and he doesn't like to brag about himself. Not going to mention names, but some of the biggest names online that a lot of you hear, see, are around every single day. They call themselves coaches. They own very large companies, corporations online right now, and they're in the forefront. He has helped coach to get them to the level at which they're at, but he is very humble. He doesn't like to brag about these things. But to me, it's more than just getting them there, but it's getting them there and knowing that on the journey, not only did they get themselves to the level in which they desired, but they did it while having fun. They did it while enjoying the journey. And I think that's so important. And this guy encompasses the journey. And obviously a mentor of mine, a friend of mine as well, that's helping me enjoy the journey. So I want to, with that, welcome Kevin Nations to the show. Welcome, brother.
Josh, great to be here, boss.
That's awesome.
Appreciate you.
I want to start the day out and just talk a little bit about that, because I feel like so many business owners in general, you know, we start something, like if we go back and you think about it, we start something, we have this huge desire to get in there and start a landscaping company, a business, online, maybe course or consulting company or mastermind or whatever it is. We have this huge desire to get in and do it, and we start doing it. And a lot of business owners, when we start, we're really excited about it. And then we start to understand the consistency that it takes. And then we start to struggle. And then it's like pressure, nerves, anxiety, like all these things. And sooner or later, you see, I know we were I was at your mastermind the other day, and one of the members in there was talking about, you know, he had this income producing thing that was going on and it was already making him money, but it just became a headache of him where he was getting ready just to throw away $150,000 a year. He was like, you know what? I'll just shut it down. And I think that a lot of business owners get like that. And I would like to sit down with you and talk to you. Why do you think that is? And what do you think? What are some of the biggest pieces of advices that you can give people to help them pull themselves back out and really enjoy the journey again?
So real quick, you mentioned enjoying the journey, and I like wearing T-shirts just to communicate a message without saying too much. And I had one made up recently. It says, have fun, get rich. And man, I thought that was going to be a big hit. And I started wearing it around my house. And the first 5 or 6 people that commented on it, just people on the streets, people in the building I live in, they would look at it, and the biggest comment I got was, oh, you've got those flipped. You got those in reverse. One guy stopped me on the street, your T-shirt's on upside down. In other words, they thought if you got rich, you didn't have fun. And I stopped him because I live in Ohio and in Las Vegas, and in Las Vegas, there's a big tipping culture there, and it's the same service industry, no matter whether it's blue collar, white collar, industrial service, food service. We make a lot of our money because people enjoy the experience of working with us. Yes, we, do hardscaping and make landscapes look great. We build brick walls. We put new paint jobs on homes, change the color of the trim, put new gutters in, all these types of things. But really what we're doing is making people enjoy their homes, enjoy their cars, enjoy going out to a restaurant, enjoying the experience. We're making them have fun. That's generally the purpose that most people, that they want. Why does somebody want a fire pit put in? Well, not just because they can walk past and say, wow, look at that fire pit, but they're thinking about Friday night, barbecue, bringing their kids back home, having something they experience. And a lot of people forget that having fun part, or think that it's going to come after they get rich.
Yeah.
And also think that it's going to come, that people are looking for them to do the best job on the fire pit installation or on what they're doing. So I wouldn't underestimate just that having fun part. Also, I will tell you that doing what you're great at gets boring. Yeah. And you see somebody else doing something that looks exciting, and you're like, man, if I could only do this. But this is what you're great at. And yes, it might be, I've done exactly the same thing now for 21 years, having very similar meetings with entrepreneurs. And you might think, well, that could get boring. And it could get boring, but I have fun because the people are different. You have different experiences. So I think that's the most important thing to remember, is that you're not delivering your product, you're not delivering your service, you're delivering whatever that does for somebody, whatever that does for their family, whatever that does for their romantic relationship, whatever. If you're, serving people at a table, they're not ordering steak, they're on a date, they're on a birthday celebration, they're getting grandpa out of the house, they're doing something. And if you can in some way contribute to that experience, realize that the food you're serving, the wine you're serving, the Diet Coke you're bringing out, that's just a means to an end. So what is the end goal that they're there for? And if you can advance that end goal, you can make a multitude of sins in the food itself. Food might not be prepared just right, or this or that. And there's a lot of forgiveness. But if you don't meet the end goal, if grandpa doesn't have fun, if he's not seated somewhere he can get up and go to the restroom, if the date doesn't go well, if whatever happens doesn't happen in the way that they thought they were intending, then you've really missed out on that. They came to have fun.
Yeah. And focusing on that fun, or like you said, end goal. So often, at least I know this for my own business, you get caught up in the day-to-day and the hustle to where you do feel like you're just grinding for $1, or you're just doing this or doing that. And what I've seen that's been amazing, at least with me working with you, is you're really good at getting us to refocus on the end goal, right? And so what do you think it is for most business owners? Is that a priority? Because you have beliefs, right? I talked to you about this, I think, just yesterday, but you have beliefs, and then you have the priority of those beliefs. And I think sometimes, when you're in business, those priorities change, and then all of a sudden you find finance sitting up here at the top. And I see this so often with business owners. Finance becomes their number one priority. And what happens is, instead of it building some kind of connection with family, fitness, faith, etc., like you should be doing, you're so focused on finance that the rest of these kind of crumble. And then you look back and you're fucking standing on like a really bad foundation, right? And so is it beliefs and making sure that you keep those beliefs in priority that gets you to focus on fun, that gets you to focus on the end goal? Would you say that would be it?
Well, one thing that just came to mind as you were sharing it may be a direct answer to your question, it may not be. If you're not having fun every day, and I know that we need to do the month end, we need to get the quarterly taxes filled out, we may need to make sure that this, new employee is onboarded, offboarded, all these types of things. Those types of tasks come in. But generally, I'm not saying every task in a business is fun, but business itself should be fun. And if you're not enjoying yourself along the way and in the process, then how is it that you're going to, we don't make ourselves miserable in order to have somebody have fun. We have fun and show them we're having fun and bring them along for having fun. And I don't set appointments, as you know, for my clients. If they want to call me, it's like, well, call me. Well, can I call you next Thursday at 10? Well, give it your best shot. Chances are I'm free. But this morning we were out walking and hiking, and we had cell service sometimes, not sometimes. I took a call from a friend of mine who's going to be facing a heart surgery tomorrow. Just like, hey, dude, I'm praying for you, love you, whatever. But if anybody had wanted to schedule an appointment, that's just something I don't do because I like flexibility.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be miserable in order to help somebody else have fun, but I'm going to show myself having fun and invite them to have that along with me. And I think many times you talked about those other priorities in the airline industry. When you're on an airplane, you guys are flying with honor, then, the stewardess or whatever they call the people now, the flight attendant, there we go, there's a proper name for it. Flight attendant comes by and they remind you guys, just want to let you know, you've got this young child here. If something were to happen, put their mask on first before you put yours on, or put your mask on first before you put theirs on. Because if you don't take care of yourself first, you might not be able to take care of them.
Yep.
In the Bible, the second commandment is like the Lord, like the first love God, whatever. The second one is like the first, love your neighbor as yourself. Well, if you're not taking care of yourself, how can you take care of your neighbor? In your business, if you're not paying yourself, if you're not taking time for, in the mornings you're saying, oh, I can't work out anymore, I can't go on walks anymore, I've got all these people I got to get back to, I can't enjoy my drive to work, I can't stop and eat lunch because a proper lunch, I've got to run through a drive-through. Every time we tell ourselves that we are sacrificing for our business, we're really telling ourselves that our business is not worth our best.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of the sacrificing for your business. I'm going to take care of myself for my business. I'm going to eat well. I'm going to take time for lunch. I'm going to walk in the morning. I'm going to get time to get into the gym or out onto a hiking trail. I'm going to do all those things for my business because my fitness is not in competition with my finances. It supports it. My faith isn't in competition for attention from my finances. It supports it.
Yeah.
If I'm walking around happy, people are going to, who wants to throw money at a mad person? If I'm walking around
Make
happy.
that t-shirt.
Yeah. Who wants to, have fun? I already got it. Have fun, get
Have
rich.
fun, get rich.
So if you go out, you might be way more knowledgeable than the person coming along after you about that plumbing line that needs to go back in. You might know exactly how it needs to be joined together or how to find the leak. But if somebody doesn't enjoy your presence when they get there, if you look like you're miserable and you're condescending to them as you're sharing with them your superior knowledge, which probably is. People just want to have fun, man.
Yeah.
People just want you to solve the problem. They expect you're smarter than them. You don't have to tell them. They expect you're better than them. You don't have to show them. Come in with that expectation. And your job is not to fix the plumbing leak or to build the fire pit or to, re-roof the house. Your job is to make them feel safe, fun, and happy.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That's going to help so many people. I mean, if you actually think about it and break it down, I was on a call the other day. I'm coaching. It's a pro athlete, a football pro athlete, and I was on a call with him just the other day, and I was in the middle of it, and he was like, "Hey, I got to go and do this. I got to go and do this, and I got to do this." And then it was like all these complaints about, I supported my wife. She's been with me for 10 years, and for the last 7 years, she hasn't had to have a job, stay-at-home mom, this and that, and just complaining about how he wasn't getting support from her. And I go off of a basis that, family, fitness, finance, and faith, but we got to focus on relationships. And because at the end of the day, I believe that all life is about the relationships. And so love, connection, and growth. And so I went back and I was like, well, you're looking at this all wrong, right? You got to slow down. Sometimes in life, I think we have to slow down reaching that financial goal because there's no way to get there if you don't have the right support, right? And so it's like sometimes we got to slow down on that financial growth. And this is what I told him. I was like, maybe you need to slow down on all these other things you're doing. Like he's kicking off this line of business and this. I said, just do football and do life. Like, let's go back and let's figure out what your life, like, do you think your wife is happy at home? Your kids are now 10, 15 years old. She doesn't have to watch them. She's not babysitting them every day anymore. Do you think she's happy doing that? And he's like, no. And I'm like, what's she happy doing then? Because we have to go and support her growth. Because how are you going to sit here just because you're an NFL player and expect her to support you in yours when you're not supporting her in hers? And so getting sometimes in life, I feel like, and this goes for business owners as well, we chase that financial goal so hard, right? Because we think that's going to save our problems when really it's have fun, get rich. It's not get rich, have fun. But part of having fun is getting people to support us in that fun. And so going back and focusing on his wife, getting her refocused on her growth, supporting her in that growth with love and connection, positive reinforcement, and allowing her to grow. And like he's been doing it for the last 3 weeks or whatever now. And he texted me just yesterday and he was like, "This is amazing." I was like, yeah, bro. And it's like sometimes we just got to slow down. We got to put finance where it belongs, which is after having fun, which is after our relationships, which is after those things that will support us in that financial growth, and it'll come a lot quicker.
Man, I think that's so important, and it's so funny we see sometimes as our incomes start to rise. I live in Vegas, and I see a lot of excess. I live in Ohio, and there's some excess there too, but there's a lot of simple people in Ohio, just Midwestern people, and you see people there making $75,000, $125,000, $150,000 a year, having more freedom, going out on a lake with a $10,000 boat.
Yeah.
and people in Vegas still slaving away trying to afford the $100,000 boat.
Yep.
You know what is very, very common between a $10,000 boat and a $100,000 boat? Both of them float out on the same lake.
Yeah.
You get to have the same water. If you want to drop a fishing line in, it goes off the same side of the same boat. If you want to dive in and swim in the water, it goes off the same side of the same boat. And so many times we're caught up in how our, financial status ranks with each other. Wonder if my racks and stacks are taller than Josh's or not, whatever. But if we have enough to fund having fun, like when is enough?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there's not a continual drive because of our competitive edge to put together strategies, go after more, always be confronted with challenges, as long as that isn't a part of I'll have fun when. Wherever you're at, if you're on this podcast right now, you can have fun right now. Look at your bank account and say, I can afford to have fun right now. Because I grew up, and there was a time growing up where we had a home we lived in. I was really young, but we didn't have indoor toilets, didn't have indoor running water. And my dad built a new house, and we fixed that, pretty quickly. But had that kind of situation. Grew up poor in Mississippi. We had fun.
Yeah.
We had all kinds of fun. We were talking about that today. We rode goats. We climbed trees. We picked blackberries. We threw maypops at each other. Yeah. We had fun.
Had a lot of
fun. We did all kinds of things. We went out during the day, and we didn't think, oh, my goodness, mom and dad's bank account isn't X or Y. We had the freedom to roam the woods and the fields and stuff we were around and had lots of fun. Then we get older, and we've got maybe the fifth largest landscaping company in town, and oh my God, if we could just be the fourth. We just beat Billy and those guys. Oh my God, they beat us on every bid.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you've got, a paid-for house, loving family at home, this and this, or how you're caught up on the payments for your house, a loving family at home, or maybe you're a payment or two behind. Well, just go get another contract. But I'll tell you, you know how to get that contract even better. The next person you go out to bid, or the next person you go cold call, knock on their door, have some fun. They're way more likely to buy. Have fun, get rich.
Have fun, get rich. I don't think there's anything better that I've ever heard, to tell you the truth. When you came out with that shirt the other day, I was like, fuck, I got to get me one of those. It's a really good way to be. One thing I definitely connect with is the fact that it's nice. I'm not going to sit here and lie. It's nice having finances, and sometimes those finances can bring fun at a high level. I always tell my wife this. I said, you never seen a fucking unhappy person on a jet ski. Okay, you've never seen somebody out there full throttle, fucking opening it up on a jet ski and not smiling. You know what I mean?
But it doesn't matter if they bought the jet ski, rented the jet ski, or if their buddy rented it for them and invited them along because they were fun to be around.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't really matter. Just being on the jet ski is the fun part. Nobody really cares while it's going out. Nobody really cares. Oh, do I own this jet ski or not? As a matter of fact, just to point out something. The guy who's driving it, that owns it, might be saying, oh, man, I hope this thing doesn't run up on the sand. And the other guy's like, man, I'm so glad I bought that $3 of insurance when I rented this thing, because if I run up on the sand, that's somebody else's problem. So, I agree with you.
Yep.
It's good to have the freedom, the flexibility, the time to go do those types of things. But if you can't afford to buy a jet ski and you want to have some fun, go rent you one for a while.
You should always be having fun. And I think that's the point I was trying to get to, is the fact that, it is nice having the money. I don't want you guys to think that you don't need money, because obviously I think that's a way that in which we, one, feel better about ourselves as we start to grow. It opens up new possibilities for people as well. And so that those things are great. But I remember when I was a kid, we didn't even have a fucking boat, but I went to the lake and we ran around the lake, and I was just chasing freaking frogs, back and forth. And me and my brother were just having a blast. And I could still at this age feel like that's some of the funnest memories that I've ever had. You know what I mean? First time getting on a bull, some of the funnest memories. That didn't cost nothing, right? And it wasn't fun at first, but it became fun because you're getting over your fears and you're getting over your stuff. So growth is there for all of us at the end of the day, and it's up for you just to reach out and grab it and have fun while you're going towards those things, right? The next thing I want to kind of jump into, or kind of transition into, because you've helped so many people online with masterminds, courses, just info products, like all of that kind of stuff. And so, while you've been out here, we've been talking, and I've been partnering with a few different people, Chris and Candace, but I want to talk about those people and about kind of what they go through. Because a lot of people, they don't understand that they have so many golden nuggets just sitting in their hands right now. And then what to get out and do with those things. And what do I mean by that? I mean, like, if we take Chris, for instance, Chris, background, fitness, like super knowledgeable. You talked to him the other day, you can see how knowledgeable this guy is in his space. But every day he's slaving away for the dollar. He's trading his time for money, right? Like he doesn't have enough time to spend with his family and spend with his daughter and spend with, but once he got trained on how to get that information out to the world, now he's able to turn down customers that he wouldn't be able to turn down before, and all of that. And I kind of want to talk to people about that, because I believe that so many people watching this show right now, they have a skill, whether it's welding, whether it's concrete, whether it's fitness, right? Whether it's interior design. Some of these people are amazing at what they do. And then they come to the online world, and instead of taking what they know and figuring out a way to bring that value and that impact to the world, they decide to jump into some other course and change their whole dynamic of what they're doing just to make a buck. You know what I mean? Because they want the right things. They want to be able to take back control of their time. They want to have more fun, spend more time with their family, but they don't know how to do it with their current skill set. What are some of the biggest pieces of advice you can give to that person?
One of the things I hear often is people underestimate what they know. They're like, oh, everybody knows how to do this. Well, everybody doesn't know how to do this. We were talking with a mutual friend of ours last night. He was talking about learning nuances in cooking and getting on to cooking shows and things like that. And when he first started, and he talked about, a couple of particular books that had helped him along the way, but when he first started, he knew very little. So never underestimate the person that might be super successful in one area that has the finances to invest in what you do. It may know very little. So, someone who's really skilled at something, they may underestimate what their skill means to somebody who's just starting, who might be great at another area. Now, on the flip side, just be like devil's advocate and play both sides of that. Sometimes people overestimate what they know or try to teach it at too complex a level. Just because you know every nuance and skill, when this guy first started taking cooking classes or watching YouTube videos, he probably wasn't looking for those finishing pieces at the top of the game. He's probably just looking how to get started. Mm-hmm. And I've done this for a while, and I like mentoring people who have been in the game for a bit, but I also forget that, I might not be the worst coach for somebody just getting started. Yeah. I have to remember that all the time. And it's like, well, they might not need, and I might not, it's really fun for me to teach people at a level that are close to me how to make that last leap, because that's the one I've made most recently. And I might think, oh, well, something I did 20 years ago was beneath me, but I still remember how to do it, and I still remember what it felt like, and I still remember, and people are at that point in their business, and I can help them through that as well. So do know that there are more people at the base level of what you know than there are just beneath where you're at. And so if you're trying to teach like some super elevated last finishing tweak, you're going to have a lot fewer clients than if you rewind back and say, well, if somebody's getting into this business, or somebody's just trying to make this into a business or a hobby that they're fulfilled by, what is it that the masses might want? And do I judge the masses because they're not as smart as me? Well, they're not as smart as you. And the reason that people pay us is they're not as good as we are in what we do. And one of the biggest things I've seen on students that have had difficulties being successful in that, especially in the early phase, is they either think, well, nobody would want this, and so they go off into something else that they're finding exciting, and so they move away from their skills, or they start judging the people that they could be charging and saying, oh, well, they're no good at this or this or that. Of course they're no good. That's why they're hiring you. And so it's really funny, but not funny when you watch people like that judge somebody that could be ready to pay them a lot of money. It's like, well, why don't you know that? Why they don't know it is because they've been busy developing another talent in life, and they're way back at the beginning of where you were at one point. Maybe you were this place as a kid. Maybe you're in a talent that you grew up around and grew up really, really skilled at. They did not. don't underestimate the capacity. If you're in fitness, you might be in the place where you're helping people who are 100 pounds overweight lose 50 pounds. They're not going to want the same nuance of exactly what a muscle does. They're going to be wanting mentorship at another level, but you, with your comprehensive understanding of that, are well prepared to teach them, but it's not going to be your most exciting, last finishing touches of information. So don't underestimate the masses of people who are there and have the capacity to learn things that you learned a long time ago.
Yeah.
There's a big market for those people.
Huge.
And it may not seem as fun for you because you want to teach the last little pieces that you've just learned, but there's a whole market out there just waiting to get started in something that you do really well at.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I see that as well. I mean, I was just working with Chris because he did the 12-week program. And when I was talking to him, he's got like all these, just like you said, high level things. And I was like, slow down, bro. This is like, you're talking to Josh. I'm wealthy, business owner, spend a lot of time at home. Don't necessarily like going to the gym every morning, right? Not eating the correct food. So you're better off over those 12 weeks teaching me what the correct food is, what not to eat, what to eat, getting me to understand micros and all that kind of stuff, macros, all that, and like getting me to really understand what I'm eating, why I'm eating it, and what it does to fuel my body. And then you're better off giving me a small plan to start working out, because at first it was like, lift this, do this, and I was like, no, this isn't how it works. You know what I mean? And so, we dialed it all the way back into like, what do you have access to at your house? Or if you do go to the gym, what do you have? And we're like custom dialing in kind of like what they have access to. Furthermore, the first week is continue eating what you're already eating and just track it, because a lot of people don't even track what they eat.
Yep.
And so we're breaking it down to the bare minimums of just, let's do these few little things that we know, because me and you know, if you track something, you change something. Even when you're not even trying. If I track what I eat, I'm changing what I eat, because I'm like, oh shit, now I understand this isn't good for me, but this is. I'm tracking my calories, so now I'm eating less calories. And so what you track changes. And so I think dialing in those little nuances, and we looked at it, and we had a couple people take a look at it, and they're like, this is freaking amazing. But it went back all the way, because when you ask Chris about it, he's like, it's so basic. it's like so basic. But
that's what the bottom of the pyramid, that's where the most people are, is at the beginning phases. Yeah. Number of people who are experts at any particular topic, that number starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller at anything that you teach or any skill that people have. There's a small number of people that are as good as you are. You're not going to be teaching a lot of people who are almost as good as you are. You're going to be in life, if you're teaching something, you'll be teaching a very few number of people who are almost as good as you are, or a lot of people who are a long way away from there, and you've got to find some way to help them make the next step in their journey without feeling judged by you. People want to be encouraged by it. They want to make changes, but they want to have fun as they're making changes, and it's going to be a little bit of not fun making the changes, but if they're making changes, which may not be fun, and being judged by the person helping them make changes, they're going to perhaps stay on that path, but they're going to be led by somebody else. Nobody wants to be led by somebody who makes them feel bad along the journey.
100%. I look at my company as well. I bring in 150 to 180 students a month right now, and I look back at like when I go in and do these lives. If I'm teaching like high-end lives where it's like, oh, the latest AI and the latest this, it's like you get a lot less people engaged. But if I go in there and I'm like, okay, you guys just got started, the agency side up, 6 steps, like hitting the 6 steps.
Here's how to make
and I go back
$500.
I go back to the basics. Dude, you get 250 people on there, and it's like, it's so awesome. And then the next month, you get people in there. Thank you, Josh, for that live. Boom, boom. Here's the customer I landed. Here's this. And so you get so much more buzz. But that we got to remind ourselves that that's the level, that is the area, that is the specific area that you can have the most impact on, because it's the widest market, right? And I think that's really good advice that you gave them. It's like, go back and focus on that, because a lot of times we get to a level and then we think that we want to just teach this level and it's not enough impact. And there's not a big enough market for it. So go back to the very basics of what you do and why you do it and why it's impactful and why it helps that other person. And you'll be able to create an amazing course, mastermind, and be able to bring impact to the world from, right?
And tell them they can, even though they're making changes, and it might be a little bit painful along the way, they can have fun. And they don't have to, none of your students are going to be perfect. There'll be some level of imperfection. So don't expect perfection, expect progress. And congratulate any level of progress, even if it's not what the person committed to. Expect it, raise the bar for the next level, but, don't judge the one they just came through. If they made some progress, I still remember I had a friend of mine who sent an email out for me years ago, and it was selling a $7 shipping CD that I made myself, duplicated them myself in my house. I had a little CD burner and had the little printer, that the inkjet printer printed on the CDs and put them into clear clamshells. And I sold at, I think it was $7.97 free shipping and handling. And so that was roughly $8. And I think I sold like $1,100 worth of them. So that's a lot, actually, like 120, 150 of those.
You're getting up there with P. Diddy.
Oh, my goodness. It was so, and I was going to have to pay most of that to ship these things out. And for I already had bought a CD burner, so that wasn't paid for. And I was just getting my message out there, sales call secrets. And I shipped that out. And I was so happy just seeing that money come in, and maybe $200 profit would come to me, but it was validation that I was doing something in this area of entrepreneurship and helping people in what they had done. And don't forget the things that stoke us now. Don't lose that memory of what stoked us a long time ago. Yeah. And we're not trying to invite people always to what stokes us now. We're inviting them to have those experiences we had back when we first got started. So never lose the joy of celebrating somebody's first $5 sale, $500 sale. And is that going to support them for a month? Of course not. It barely take them to dinner. But they've got to make a $500 sale before they can make a $5,000 sale, before they can make $5,000 a week, before they can make $5,000 a day. They got to make a single sale first. So celebrate that with the same joy. It's probably harder to make that first $5,000 sale or first $5,000 in sales as it is to go from $5,000 a week to $5,000 a day. That's not that hard.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. All right. So, obviously we're talking a little bit about, somebody starting a course, a mastermind, info product, whatever it is. And I think most people get the idea of how to do that with the current knowledge that they have, right? And I want to keep this real. I don't want to see a lot of people run off and start something that they don't know. This is all about, I think this is crazy, but in this market, I've only been in it for 8 years. You've been in it 21 years, so you've seen this so much more than me. But you see people come in, they create something, there's a lot of buzz about it, they go and make a couple thousand sales, and then you just see them die off and you see them disappear and all that. I think a lot of that comes from them not actually doing, one, what they love, two, what they really know. They came in and tried to just make money. You know what I mean? So you see this rotation. And so anybody watching this right now, don't be those one-trick ponies, right? Actually come in, bring value to the world, bring impact to the world. And once you have that down, this is a good conversation that's about to happen right now, is that you guys, some of you know Kevin, some of you might not, but Kevin runs a mastermind or chillionaire, which essentially is him and his daughter doing millions of dollars every year with just him and his daughter, right? I'm the opposite spectrum to where I have, 20 sales guys, setters, all this stuff, bringing in 180 units a month. And obviously it's a lot more work. And you're helping me be happier in that. but you kind of have, and I thought this was amazing. When I met you, I was like, I looked at you and I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, just you and your daughter doing this and that's it? And you're like, that's it, bro. And this is what I make. And I was like, and I looked at it, I'm like, that's amazing, right? And I'm sure the same here is like, I showed you, because I got in and I showed you everything that I'm doing, and you probably went, it's the same thing, like, wow, that's amazing, right? And so what do you think? Like, there's lots of ways for these people, once they have a product, they have the impact that they can get out there, and they really want to get their message out. What do you think is the big difference between the way that I do it, the way that you do it? Like, do you think they're the same? And they're just, one has a paid source behind it to really push it up. The other one's more of an organic source to push it up. What do you think stands the difference between the way that we both push out what we're doing?
You mentioned I work with my daughter, and I have for about 6 years now. And before that, my business has always been just me and one assistant for the most part, my entire career in this one. And So being my best friend, we spend personal time together too, and it's my daughter. And we'll look at sometimes pair of boots or pair of shoes, and I'm like, hey, do you like these? She's like, for you. You've met her. You can probably
100%.
experience the tone she uses on that too. For you. Running a big team's not better than running a one-man shop.
Yeah.
Running a one-man shop's not better than running a team. Running something you don't like and aren't having fun with is worse than running something you do like and generally are having fun with. And if you are someone who, has some creativity, has some skills, want to run a boutique shop and, run it very, very lean, find somebody to mentor you that helps you do that and go along that road. If you're someone that is, my son runs a lot of training for a big multinational corporation, publicly traded company, and he is truly a people person. I'm a very few people person. And everybody loves him, and all of his subordinates love working for him and whatever. And so if he started a business similar to mine, his would probably look more similar to yours because he brings people in, builds that team, loves them. I've seen your team around. You have a team, but they're kind of like family.
Yeah,
they
all
come
family.
around and they've helped themselves. I'm here at your compound here in Colorado Springs, and I was walking in. This person came in that cleans. Like, hi, and introduced me with her name. This person came in to walk the dogs. Hi, I'm this. We've seen concrete workers, not only in the coaching and consulting business, but in the myriad of other businesses you have team members who come through and are just woven in as part of your life. So it's tempting to look at the benefits of what isn't naturally your talent and see the benefits of that. I might think, oh my goodness, if I could just offload a lot of my work to a bunch of other people, but you don't offload.
Yep.
Because much like talking about the person that was coming through, while we're out here, somebody's cleaning your kitchen, somebody's cleaning this, they cleaned this office before we came this morning and came back and reported on that. While that's happening, but also they're here.
Yeah.
That's an inconvenience along with being a convenience. All of those, every inconvenience is a convenience. Every convenience is an inconvenience. And you just need to determine the recipe that makes you most happy. Wow. There's going to be things about the flip side that are going to be attractive, but the question is, do you want the elements of the flip side? Do you want the flip side? And so I have been very happy for 21 years running things exactly the same way. I'm not tempted to come over to the other side. And I can work with and be friends with and do some partner. We might do some deals together from time to time and take advantage of your talents in there. If my son came into my business, maybe it would expand more and I could use his talents at team running and team management. That's not naturally one of my skills. One of my skills is just helping a small group of people graduate and become leaders and do what they do. I say small. I've got like 50, 55 clients right now that invest at a high level, and we help them at a high level.
Extremely high level.
Yeah, but that's well and good.
Yeah.
But that's also small enough that all of them have my phone number. They can call me direct anytime, and we can work out something like that. So I think it's just important to determine which of those models would make you most happy and go all in on it and not bounce back and forth between. Because to be in between and indecisive about which of those you're going to do is probably the only move I'd say that's inferior to either one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
absolutely.
pick your horse and ride it.
Yeah, period. You were talking to somebody just the other day. It was out at your place in Vegas, your penthouse. And I think you, before I got in the room, I think you laid out a blueprint of what he wanted and he got clarity and all that. And then he asked the question of, well, should I run ads? And it's like, should you? Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
because in our little mastermind that we are both a part of, it's, I wouldn't say exactly 50-50, but there's roughly half the people who run big scaled up businesses and have multiple businesses with a lot of employees, and probably half of them run something kind of lean, more similar to my style. And there's benefits to both, and we get to see the benefits and the challenges of both, and there's challenges to both.
Yeah,
so like the real key in life is just to have fun, get rich. Whichever, pick your level of fun. This for you is fun. I see as the people are coming in and out. And of course that might be frustrating sometimes, but generally you have fun with those people coming in and doing their thing and be a part of a big enterprise.
Yeah.
I, see the simplicity of what I do, and it's quieter generally than having people in and out of my business, my life, going on team meetings, which you were on earlier today, which I don't have, or whatever. And I might say, man, I wish I had, someone I could delegate this or that or this to, and I have to go find them individually and find somebody or find a agency or whatever. But both of those have skills, and generally I pick mine because I have over and over every year for the last couple of decades.
Yeah, and I think I'm a lot like your son to where, and I thought about this after I really, I broke down your profit margins, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, okay. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, would I want to run a business with just me and my daughter or just me and my wife? And the answer is no. Yep. And it's because I love people, and I love surrounding myself with people, and I love growing teams, and I love watching their lives grow. And that's really important to me, right? And I find a lot of importance and a lot of clarity in my life by being around people and bouncing ideas and seeing what's happening. And so to me, that's where I derive a lot of value, right? But I look at your business, and there is a part of fucking jealousy there. I'm like, holy fuck, right? Because you're doing it so lean, and you're so happy, and and just what you're doing. And so I think you are right. I don't think there is a right or wrong. I think it's just what works for people. And so, if you're listening to this right now and you have a course and you have something going on that you can bring value to the world with, I think that, like Kevin said, you just need to pick a zone. You need to pick, are you going to do it the one man millions, right? Or the chillionaire thing here, to where it's just you and maybe one other person, and you're in Facebook groups and you're just bringing value to people's lives, and you're growing that organically? Or are you going to do it the other way, to where you want to bring on a team and you want to run some ads and you want to scale and maybe have some setters and some closers and kind of go that route? But there is no wrong route. There's just you picking a decision. The only wrong thing that you could do is bounce back and forth.
Well, this might not be fit for a, this might be a NSFP, not suitable for a podcast. But if you're doing something for the money that you wouldn't do if there was no money in it, you're just a hoe.
You're just a hoe.
I mean, seriously, if you think about that, like, who wants to prostitute themselves out every day and say, I wouldn't do this? Like, this thing, the tasks that you do, the getting on the calls, obviously you want to make money from it. You want to make it profitable, but you enjoy that.
I love it. Yeah.
Me working with my daughter and doing the things that I do every day and getting to go out and having the freedom to, you said, hey, could you come up for a couple of days and hang out? Of course.
Yeah. You're like,
come up, I've got all my time in the world, it's free. So do I like that? Of course I do. I love that. Do I like making a profit from it? Yes, but does every minute have to be accounted for profit? Am I not going to leave the house and do that? So I think find the model that is the most fun, and very likely it's the one that'll make you the most money eventually over time, rather than trying to say, which is going to net me the most money, the business that Josh is running or the business that Kevin's running, because he's running a lot lower percentage margins, but a lot higher revenue. Yep. I'm running a lot lower revenue and a lot higher percentage margins, and it might roll out somewhat equivalently. I'll tell you how much money we both make. We both make enough to have fun. There's exactly. We'll just share some down and dirty on the finances. Both make enough to have fun and enjoy being here and talking to each other.
Yeah.
And so I do think if you pick what you feel like you're going to enjoy most on the day by day, eventually that is going to turn into the thing that you're going to make the most money from, because you're not going to sabotage it. You're going to. You have a wonderful quote, don't hate your money.
Yeah.
And if you hate earning your money for like, man, I wouldn't be doing this if there was money in it, that's kind of like hating your money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't getting paid.
Yeah.
So,
knock it off.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Well, have fun, get rich is obviously your thing. If you
seems that way, huh?
Seems that way. If you could give them one more piece of advice, and guys, I think I'm going to talk Kevin into maybe doing a little course. So maybe somewhere down the road here, you might be able to find it. But either way, if you want to find Kevin, you can go to kevinnations.com, right?
Yes. A little secret. It is being built. as we're recording this.
It will be
here,
built by the time you watch
by
this.
the time you watch this, because I had an old website, and one of the benefits of knowing somebody on the dark side, whichever side you are, he knows me. I'm on the dark side. I got the time to come here and hang out. While I'm here, Josh is like, hey, I got team members that build websites. Let's make your website
let's jump
better.
in and get it
so
done.
yeah, go to kevinnations.com. Which is being built because you have an amazing team around you.
There you go.
Yep.
So kevinnations.com is where you're going to be able to find him. But before he goes, I would love for you just to go on a little rant on getting somebody out of the belief that they can't have fun, because so many people are stuck in the belief that they have to have money first. And so if you had to break that down into a formula of the way in which they need to change their thought process, and I'm trying to give this really hard to you because I want you to go on a rant here. If they had to change the formula of changing the beliefs, right, the priority of their beliefs to be able to make that happen for themselves, what is it that they would need to focus on first? What is it that they would need to do in order to start having fun now? Because so many people don't think it's possible.
We could just answer that by not answering that and say, if you're on this and you think that you need to be miserable right now, you have my permission.
Oh, wow.
I mean, why would I stand in the way? If misery is your kind of fun, be miserable. If you want to have fun, you can. See how that triggered you perhaps, or see how that made you laugh if you're on the flip side of that. Of having fun is a choice. It's not tied to money at all. You wake up in the morning, you're going to have fun or you're not. I mean, you could be about to go to court and you could still say, hey, today's going to be a fun day. I'm going to, get a sentence or not, if I'm going to serve it or not. You could be about to, have to give a refund that's going to put you at less money than you have. Ask yourself, if I give this refund and I'm miserable, is that better than if I give this refund and I'm happy? Wyatt Earp in the movie Tombstone got off the train and they were trying to guilt him into being a marshal again. And they came out and talked to him about going to Tombstone and being a marshal. And so they were talking to him. He said, no, I'm going to get rich. And the person who came up and approached him and said, I've never seen a rich man without a guilty conscience. Wyatt said, I already got the guilty conscience. Might as well have the money too. And you can say that about fun. You already got to give the refund. Might as well just have fun today anyway. You already are, $10,000 behind on payroll. No reason to be that and miserable at the same time, because you ask yourself, now seriously, would a miserable person be able to earn 10 grand back faster than a happy person?
Hell no.
So I just think fun is a choice. It has nothing to do with the, recipe that you're being put together. I've had fun meals that were, Kraft mac and cheese and water. And boiling the water in a coffee maker, hoping that the coffee taste didn't get into there. I've had, 3-star Michelin restaurants in Vegas. There's, I think, 3 of them. I've been to 2 of them, and those were multi-course dinners. I can't say that I had more fun at one versus the other. It was a different experience, but there's been days that I've had whole lots of fun just, throwing together a little Cliff Bar or something. I know you like. Look at that smile.
I love Cliff Bars.
Throwing a little Cliff Bar together and sitting out on the side of a mountain with somebody is just as fun. So don't think that the experience has to bring the fun to you. You bring the fun to the experiences that you have in life.
That's awesome. You bring the fun to the experience. Well, go have fun. And if you want to connect with one of the best mentors, best coaches out there, kevinnations.com. We'll see you guys soon.
Josh, honor.